When does someone become a master? Is it the amount of time spent on a craft or the success you achieved with it? In this Adorama original series, we'll travel throughout the United States and discover people who being a master today means being able to recognize that voice.
My style is definitely food photography, but like magnified and creative and more fun. And like, I feel like it has an element that makes people want to like grab the screen and take out the food. I'm Jessica Hirsch. I'm the founder of CheatDayEats, which is all about food, fitness, and my entire lifestyle. I started it over 8 years ago, at which time I was actually a high school math teacher. But my passion for food and photography has always been so strong. So when I noticed that on Instagram there was this world of people who are just as excited about eating out and finding the best places, I wanted to be a part of that community. So I started posting where I was eating, immediately noticed that my content was being recognized, and I got really excited about that, which furthered me to want to invest more time in learning the techniques that would help my content grow and become what it is today. What I love about food photography is there's such a huge range, and like you see what I grew up looking at, right? Like our Food Network or the Food and Wine magazines. And what I think social media allowed people to take food photography and make it their own. And for me, that just meant something like extraordinary and creative, and I could put my own spin on it and make it cinematic. You have to be able to grab people's attention, and you only have about 15 to like 30 seconds to keep it. So I think it's about reimagining what you see like in a 30-minute video for Food Network and minimizing that to 15 seconds and trying to teach and entertain and make people have a little bit more knowledge of your even personality. Some of my inspiration comes from YouTube. I feel like for me, it's such a great source of information. As a former educator myself, I always look for someone who I'm going to be inspired by, and the bike shot, I feel like she's just such a great energy that it comes through the screen and you can learn so much from her in just one video. Me and my fiance both left our full-time jobs and decided to put everything we had into our own brand, and it's been really exciting. The content I create for CheatDayEats is cinematic, but food porn, like together. And I hate using food porn, but like I feel like it's like in your face, like close-up shots, like you feel like you're in the food, like actually in the dish. That's how close I like to get, because I want people to really see all those specific details. And also I love to utilize slow motion, specifically because it's not something you see with your eye. So slowing down that moment just makes it more powerful. It really brings the moment to life in a way that you wouldn't normally see if you were cooking. What I love about the Sony camera is that I'm always utilizing the settings that you can customize. So my setting 1 is for interview, 2 is for 4K 60, and then I have 4K 120, so that's awesome. Then I have the A7S III, which I love, and I love it so much because it has the slow motion capabilities and just I feel like allows me to capture the content that I want perfectly. My favorite lens is the Sony 24-70 2.8 G Master lens, and I love that lens because it's so versatile, it's extremely sharp and beautiful. When it comes to storytelling, there's a few shots you want to get, right? So you want to get the wide shot so people see the scenery. Then you might want to get a close-up shot so people get the details of the dish. And so I can capture all of that with one lens. When I'm looking for a specific shot as far as details and close-up that you wouldn't normally get with the 24-70, that's when I'll switch to the 90mm macro. And I feel like it captures something that most people wouldn't be able to get with like a regular camera. That's what I want people to feel. Wow. With social media, there's a lot of pressure to constantly change with whatever, algorithm or, what people are looking for now. Social media, I think, has changed from photos to videos. And I know a lot of people too who are like, I want to post a photo on Instagram and it doesn't perform well anymore because now video is being pushed so much. It's like, I want to see more. Like, I want people to see the recipe, like the full, if I'm at a restaurant, I want them to see the entire process. To me, that's exciting. That's behind the scenes, even before the food gets to the table. And that's what I love. Like, I love showing, okay, well, here's what goes into this burger. This is how you can make the pizza. And it highlights the chef, it highlights the restaurant, or if I'm making a recipe at home, it just gives more information than a photo. So part of my creative process is that I will have my Sony app up and it connects to my camera so I can see the framing and see what Mr. CheatDayEats is seeing. Actually, let's see, I want to get a close-up of the bread. YouTube's more of like my inspiration, but I'll say videos where I feel like I learned something or saw something that I want to utilize in my video. Also with, I like Pinterest. I feel like Pinterest is very visual, and for me, I like to save different things that I find. Then moving on to the actual video, the day of, we'll have a sense of the timing that we want to shoot, prepping all the ingredients, making sure everything's ready to go, and then also walking through it with Brian. There could be 12 minutes of footage, and the recipe might take an hour, but it takes 4 hours to edit sometimes. Just it depends on the video, obviously, and I think the more specific I am with my shot list, the easier it gets, but there's just so much that goes into the post-edit, finding the perfect song, going to the beat, that first, what is my first clip? How is that gonna pull people in? I think that's really important. And then there's the idea of the loop. Do you know the loop? So how do you kind of trick people into continuing watching the video on loop, right? So I like to start and end my video with something similar so they feel like they just keep coming back. It's actually very surprising, but I don't take that many photos. I'm very specific about the exact image that I want to get as I'm taking it. And so I think that helps with the process of post-editing when it comes to photos, but I batch edit, and then I'll see from that batch edit, what are the 2 or 3 that are really catching my eye. When it comes to food, you want to keep it natural. You don't want to go too crazy as far as color grading. For me, I love natural light. That being said, it's constantly changing, and I think that's a challenge. So I'll use a color checker, which allows me to in post edit, just select the gray and color correct a lot easier. But I always joke with myself, I'm making more work for myself shooting in natural light, but I just love that look. Every dish has a sexy side. And that's why I love video too, because you're gonna see me, as I'm shooting, I'm always getting the top down, then I'll move and get the side angle, because I feel you want to be able to see every side of it. In food photography, and specifically social media, it's an oversaturated market, and you have to think about what's going to help you stand out. For me, it's all about incorporating my personality, whether it literally be me in the video, or just having that super slow motion or cinematic look that people will know me for. For post-production, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I've been using that for probably ever since I started editing my videos. And I mean, personally, I love using Adobe Premiere Pro just because I feel I have all that control. When you're on your phone, and the phone apps are great, but it's more if I'm doing something more casual for TikTok. So one of the biggest tips if you're starting, you want to become a food photographer, I would say is, honestly, this is so cliche, but practice does make perfect, because I feel you really just need to lean into learning. And obviously I said before that YouTube is such a great resource for educating yourself and understanding how to, capture content, whether it be video or photos, learning your style, understanding what you're capturing, how you're going to capture it. I think it's just a matter of getting creative and playing with your scene and seeing what is the story you're trying to tell too, right? I think I started this because of community, and that's where I am today, and makes me so happy to constantly share my story and people can relate to it, and I love having those conversations with my audience. And also, I love when a chef or a restaurant, talks about how much they've been affected by a video I've created for them. How much business it has brought them, or a brand, how much they love my content. Just sharing and having that community is everything.